We rode down the main streets of Fallujah, Iraq with our lights off, using our night vision goggles to scan the road. As I focused as I drove past the apartment complexes that were flanking us on each side, a stream of lights could be seen in our wake. The inhabitants were using their household lights to signal to the enemy our position. They were tracking us. As I focused on the third Humvee in the convoy, which was directly in front of me, a sudden explosion erupted, sending cement fragments flying and enveloping the vehicle in a cloud of dust and dark gases. With one hand, I reached over for the vehicle's transmission and switched it into reverse, while the other gripped the radio. As I backed up at about 20 miles per hour, I barked into the radio, "Brake, brake, Victor 3 is hit, Victor 3 is hit, brake, brake, IED, IED. I hit the gunner's leg. IED, IED, check for complex ambushes." Victor 3 came over the radio. They were all alive and no one had been injured. We pushed hard and fast out of the kill zone. But my friends were lucky. The bomb makers had made a mistake, and they usually did not make mistakes. The story you just heard is from my experiences in Iraq, fighting in a non-conventional warfare, in which mines are a constant threat, and how these experiences change people. Now, in a non-conventional warfare occurs when a superior force occupies a country that has a smaller force. The enemy has no other option than to resort to using guerrilla or terrorist tactics, that is, IEDs or mines. Thus, we had to develop counter-IED tactics. And these experiences, now, most civilians can't fathom what these experiences are like, but it's important that you try to imagine what I'm describing, because coming home is very challenging for the service member and their family. There's a divide that's created between these individuals because of these experiences. Like I was saying, IEDs were a constant threat. So what is an IED? An IED is an improvised explosive device. It's a homemade bomb. What the insurgents would do is they would wire a bomb to a cell phone in which they would dial that number, detonating it. As U.S. forces passed over the buried IED, they would ring that cell phone and hit that convoy. These bombs, mines, whatever you'd like to call them, can take out entire convoys of armored vehicles. So we began using cell phone jammers. Then the enemy switched to using pressure plates. Now these are weight-sensitive detonators, and they are triggered when a person or a vehicle passes over them. This means that we were sweeping for mines everywhere we went, and we never knew when or where we were going to get hit at. So I'm going to describe to you the process of sweeping for these mines and what it's like. First, the unmarried and lowest ranked Marine is selected. The chain of command does this so no one valuable is killed and a family doesn't lose their husband or father. Then the patrol sets out in single file and the lead vehicle pushes 400 meters from the rest of the convoy. This is done so if the lead vehicle is hit, only those individuals are killed and everyone else is safe. This is done so everyone stays safe. Now, I held this position for my first deployment, and I'm going to describe to you what it's like. Imagine a road littered with trash, metal, old electronics, wires, and a bomb could be under any of these. I would drive up to these, or walk up to them, and check them for explosives. As I drove up to what could be a pressure plate, my body released a substantial amount of adrenaline that made my heart feel as if it had stopped beating for a moment. When I realized I had not died, a euphoria I cannot describe filled me. I then repeated this process over and over again for miles. I need to add that this experience changes people. There is a point when the individual no longer cares if the IED will detonate, and they accept death. Now these experiences create a divide between civilians and service members. And it's a divide that's difficult to cross. But by conceptualizing what these experiences are like, such as hunting for IEDs, you are creating a bridge to service members. We must do better than simply saying thank you when we do not know what we're thanking the combat veteran for. You're helping with that when you understand and imagine this. But there are other sides to warfare that you might not imagine. One night, when I was drinking in my barracks room, I went over to my friend's room, and I was knocking on his door. His name was Doc Emmich, and he was a handsome corpsman, much more handsome than any of us Marines. Truly, he was a good-looking guy. As I was knocking on his door, I didn't know why he wasn't answering. That night, I had forgotten that my friend had died and that I was knocking on a dead man's door. A vague feeling of resignation came over me and my hand dropped. Doc Emmich was killed by an IED in our last deployment, the deployment I survived. In conclusion, the home we left will never be the same home we come back to. Too much has changed. And the transition process can be difficult. But you can help with that. Thank you.